When Rhy Shen opened his eyes, Lumen was gone. Yet her burnt scent still clung to the reddish glow of the morning sun. In her place, a new, uninvited guest barged in.
Ah! Bloody hell. Morning arrival.
Rhy Shen jerked upright on his cot, ready for a fight.
Has no one in this fucked up clown world ever heard of knocking?
Immo ignored his complaints and squared his shoulders like someone terribly important.
I've already logged the incident report and secured clearance for today's mission in the melting village. Very thorough. Very professional. You're coming with us to apologize.
You want me to apologize to the Juru? For what, exactly?
For the bomb.
It wasn't my idea to bomb the goddamn siege. I had nothing to do with this bullshit.
Uh-huh. Of course. That's why your name is first on the report.
You mean on your report?
In annoyance, Immo lifted his nose.
I do take my report seriously. Besides, the Juru are very punctual about apologies. So, shall we proceed?
Before Rhy Shen could snap another distinctive insult for an answer, his ear rang again from M's distant voice. M couldn't help but comment the discussion.
Oh, kid, how clever you must be to make your own little decisions within a complicated economical conflict in a foreign world after exactly 2 days of existing. I must say, your potential for disaster is admirable.
Meanwhile, Immo's growing impatience was written across the tight muscles of his neck.
Are you coming or what?
The mere sight of Immo's smug face was enough to make Rhy Shen's blood boil.
Fucking shit-headed asshole.
Thus, M felt the need to interrupt, before Rhy Shen's temper could spoil the next chance for his own plans to unfold.
Wait a second before you insult him again, kid. Remember the furnace you have entered in your first night? Ask Immo to bribe the Juru with the fresh charge of Ishi mirrors. Do it now.
Rhy Shen swallowed hard, unable to hide the swirl of confusion in his expression. M said it like a task, as if failing to do so would brand him a failure. He furrowed his brows and whistled.
What about the Ishi mirrors?
Oh, clever. You are learning faster than you seem, Arrival.
Immo folded his arms in a nod of respect.
The idea's not terrible. Ishi mirrors are the most valuable good outside of the guild, and the melting village is the most depleted place in Teal. Ha! The savages would never admit it, but they love this new technological bling-bling. Okay, hear me out.
Suddenly, Immo spoke as if it was his own idea, just as M had expected.
We'll take some Ishi mirrors with us as an offering. I'll ask Thos to hand out the recent charge. Meet you outside in 5 minutes.
Immo, confident in his new role as mission leader, wasted no time ordering another scholar to join the team as a pack mule.
Where is he? Where is he? You!
Naturally, it was poor Fethel, the one who dared to insult him just yesterday.
You owe me, Fethel!
Fuck off, Immo.
Fethel didn't even look up from the blade he was sharpening.
I swear, if you don't want to get on my list, you better join us.
Fine.
When Rhy Shen got to the bridge not more than 4 minutes later, Lumen, Faithel, and Immo already awaited him. Within minutes, the 4 of them descended westward and slipped into the shadows of the Black March forest.
Okay, group, let's see if we can blow any sense into the minds of these savages.
At the words savages, Lumen flinched once more, her eyes slicing toward Immo with a fury that could have killed him. Fortunately, his elite abilities guarded him against the murk. The trees of the Black March forest rose like phalanges of demonic hands. Their warped branches were clawing into each other against the dim morning sky. Ash from the southern volcano drifted down in lazy swirls, coating the group's shoulders and hair in a fine grey powder. Immo led the way, followed by Lumen, Rhy Shen, and Fethel. All of them, except Rhy Shen, were Atham soldiers with a rank higher than 2, each a force to be reckoned with. Rhy Shen, however, felt the forest watching. Juru scouts lingered in the shadows, tracking every footfall. The group slowed, each step measured. The only vivid sound nearby was Immo constantly complaining.
Charming, truly. Every fucking thing in this landscape is resentful. Nice home you have here, Lumen.
Don't be like that, Immo. The forest remembers violence. It has been through a lot.
No one argued. If anyone could read the scars of the land, it was the Juru hunter among them. A low, distant crack echoed through the trees. Wood splintered somewhere ahead. The group froze for a heartbeat, but nothing followed. Only ash settled on their shoulders. Heat grew stronger with every step, forcing Immo and Fethel to catch their breaths from time to time. It didn't take long for Fethel to lag behind.
Come on, Fethel! Pull yourself together.
I'm trying. I'm really trying.
However, he was not trying hard enough for the mission leader. Without warning, Immo brought the back of his hand down on Fethel's head, shoving him forward. Fethel stumbled, tears already brimming in his eyes.
It's so hot.
Oh, my nerves. Enough whining!
Immo shoved him aside.
Never mind, you crybaby. I'll carry all of the Ishi mirrors to the melting village. By myself. Go back to the guild fortress and stop wasting our time.
He yanked the 3 trembling Ishi mirrors from Fethel's grip and hoisted them onto his own back.
Fine. I won't risk my ass for this.
Fethel gave up. Lumen didn't hold him back, but turned sharply to the group leader, Immo.
Don't expect our help after the way you dismissed him, Immo.
Don't worry, I won't. Huh?
Suddenly, Immo stopped, drawing in a slow breath.
Do you smell that?
Disgusting.
Immo smoothed his hair coolly despite the heat.
Ha! Maybe for you. For me? It smells like winning.
He lowered his eyelids and followed his nose through the gutter of the dead land. At last, he knelt before a crooked, twisted stem rising from the ash, a flower long past its bloom.
Look at this beauty.
His eyes softened, like those of a mother deer.
Not this again, Immo.
Irritated, Lumen and Rhy Shen watched Immo dig his hands into the gutter, careful not to damage any roots. He lifted the thick root of the plant like a surgeon performing a heart transplant. Then he pulled a crystal bottle from his bag and embedded the root inside.
Ha! Perfection.
You just told Fethel to fuck off because he was too slow, and now you're sitting here gardening. Why don't you use your goddamn sword if you need it?
What? Oh, heavens forbid a man has hobbies, you turd.
Immo sounded almost embarrassed.
They don't grow where I'm from. Not everything in the world is about cruelty, Arrival.
For a moment he said nothing more. Then he exhaled. The sound of a man carrying the memory of a mistake he refused to repeat.
You wouldn't get it. This will keep me from becoming what the sword is good at.
Rhy Shen wasn't sure if he wanted to find out what that meant. The three of them moved on, slower now. Meanwhile, the wind carried the faint scent of smoke and rot.
I heard the local fauna in this region is thoroughly demonic.
Demons are fauna, Immo, but the rift creatures... They're something else entirely.
She pointed northways.
See that strange light above the Juru forest? That's an unmistakable sign of a rift. A glitch in reality. Rift creatures always appear as a byproduct whenever someone tampers with sphere technology. To be honest, the sheer number of them makes me think that Boyang might not be the only one experimenting with it. It is not natural. These creatures misalign the balance in teal. They have no use here.
Everything has a use.
And everything has a price, Immo.
The snap of a branch somewhere in the distance made the group freeze at the spot. None of them spotted anything live in the ash-strewn undergrowth, but the wind carried the faint scent of smoke, rot, and something sharper, something predatory. Lumen slowed. Her eyes constantly tracked the jagged basalt ahead.
This region used to be full of ash fowls.
She frowned.
Small, lizardous demons, but harmless mostly. They lived off the lava streams underneath. You'd see them everywhere.
She gestured around them, to where the steaming cracks in the ground should have been alive with movement.
There aren't any ash fowls anymore.
Before them, the path stretched on in silence.
Something came through, and it ate them. All of them!
Only then did the absence make sense. The group came to a silent halt, every ear tuned to the darkness around them. Rhy Shen pressed his lips together. He wondered, what kind of pest could wipe out an entire species of small demons?
The sapient arrivals from the rifts. The ones that brought those creeping vermin with them. They have a name for what did this. They call them Alps.
Immo outpaced her step and took the lead.
Then Alps die first. Let's hope we see one.
Let's hope we don't.
What the hell was that? Ha!
Lumen spun around with a raised double axe, and an Alp was already latched onto her bag. The leather was shredded by sharp claws. With terrifying precision, the creature scavenged through the interior, ripping apart the supplies and scattering bones, food, and tools.
Not the food!
Beer and sauce sprayed as the Alp chewed through the remnants of Lumen's precious supply.
Rhy Shen! Immo! Move, now! Brr! When there's one, there's more!
The monster on Lumen's back forced her into a violent struggle, hissing and snapping at her throat with its claws. Every movement of hers was mirrored by the Alp. Its unnatural reflexes were a cruel reminder that this was no ordinary beast. Immo, the greatest cultivator in the arena, stood absolutely still. He didn't even touch the sheath of his sword out here.
Oh, these goddamn arrival monsters!
Lumen swung her axe to kill the beast, but it was too close, and she couldn't land a hit. In return, the creature slashed Lumen's throat. Her voice was gone for an instant, but the wound healed quickly. Red aethum light from her inner core gleamed from the cut until it transformed into a smooth line. A moment later, she sucked in air and then screamed,
Rhy Shen! Slam the hammer!
Okay then.
Rhy Shen didn't hesitate. He tried to smash the filthy beast on Lumen's back and missed her head by inches. But to no avail. The Alp was still raging, yanking out clumps of Lumen's hair for fun and stuffing them onto its own head in pure mockery. All of a sudden, an arrow struck, shot from an enormous black tree. It hit the Alp with brutal precision, leaving no other option for the injured beast but to retreat. Immo tried to get it with another fire blast from his chest, but it slipped away into the grey fog. Lumen turned toward where the arrow had come from.
Oh, thank the spirits! An outer post must be near. They will show us where the village is.
The speech bug in Rhy Shen's ear helped him understand the words, but they still didn't make much sense to him.
You mean where the village is now? It is moving?
Yes, we have 4 official entries on the surface, and the arrow came from one of them.
Immo rolled up the sleeves of his open shirt, heavily sweating but ready to make history.
So there's a good chance that the village is right beneath us. Let's say hello and offer our trade goods.
The 3 of them pushed through and reached the huge tree where the single arrow had come from. One single fire blast from Immo had cost him all his remaining energy. He could only breathe heavily, and his skin slowly turned more pale than Rhy Shen's.
Just a few steps more, Immo. My people will give us shelter. Maybe they have some water too.
Lumen knew very well that there was no use for water in her home village beneath the ground, but she tried to keep Immo's hopes up to keep him going. The outpost up on the tree was surrounded by a wall of black trunks which were tightly bound together, their peaks sharpened like spears. 3 or 4 Juru heads peeked above the trunks from the center.
Lumen! Not you again!
The lack of welcome hit Lumen like a shockwave, but the Juru people were serious.
My friends, let's be fair. I came all the way to...
Ha! Friends?
She couldn't even finish her sentence.
You might want to fuck off, Lumen. Like, right now.
Another warrior shouted from the right,
Yeah! Go away, Lumen!
and another one yelled,
You have been expelled for a reason!
And that reason was obviously stupid.
Lumen raised her chin and shot back.
We have just been attacked by one of the freaks you are all trying to protect so proudly.
Mumbling came from the dry tree crown, then a hurried rustling. A broad-shouldered Juru man sprang from the tree in a wide arc and hit the ground with a landing that made the earth shudder. He looked at Lumen's fur collar in disgust and snorted.
Don't forget that we just shot one for you 5 minutes ago. So we're not protecting anything. We let things be.
His eyes wandered over to Rhy Shen, without a single muscle of his face moving.
And who the fuck are you?
Rhy Shen's eyes glinted, but he stayed silent. Immo spoke up in his place as an attempt to take control over the situation.
We want to negotiate, please.
The Juru warrior gave him no reaction. His gaze stayed fixed on the strange ghost boy in the back.
Aren't you the sole donkey fucker who just bombed away our siege wall this noon? Our soldiers are still healing. We object negotiations with you.
2 other Juru soldiers landed beside the man, only to underline his authority. Impressed, Immo turned around to Rhy Shen.
Come on, Arrival. Now it's time to apologize for your violence at the siege wall.
Rhy Shen's face darkened. This was embarrassing, for both of them.
They shot fire at us.
Hearing this audacity, the Juru warrior had to slam his fists together to restrain himself from killing the pale stranger on the spot.
We were shooting at the bomb you were directing at us.
He repeated inwardly fuming.
The bomb!
Shitheads.
The Juru soldier crossed his arms and let a brutal grin spread across his face.
Apologize!
The words clanged through the air, stunning the group for a moment. Breathing heavily, Immo leaned on Rhy Shen's shoulder with urgent impatience.
Say it, Arrival.
Fine. I am sorry for bombing your walls. We are all very sorry, and we apologize with our hearts.
An awkward silence came over the opponent groups. Then the Juru warrior spoke.
We object your excuse! Now go!
The 3 Juru soldiers squared their shoulders, waiting for the outsiders to leave. Another soldier stayed back with his axe drawn, securing the area. For a moment, their heroic mission leader, Immo, didn't know how to proceed. It was Lumen who drew on her knowledge of her people and handled the exchange in a distinctly Juru way. As etiquette demanded, she drew back her fist with deadly momentum and slammed it squarely into her old friend's face. With the grip of her double axe, she jabbed the other 2 old acquaintances square in the ribs, making them cough up blood.
You are such a hypocrite, Kulan. Open the passage down to the village, and we'll talk to the masters ourselves.
Only a moment later, the 3 had already recovered and lined up once more, their faces somehow darker than before.
Ha ha ha! Have you taken a look at your mortal recently?
He pointed a thumb at the wheezing Immo.
He is going to die down there!
Immo is strong.
We had another mortal here a few days ago. If you have anything to do with this nosy bastard from the Ochintis dynasty, you can dismiss yourself right away, or we'll do it for you!
Immo's eyes widened, and at one go, a cold shudder came from Rhy Shen's speech bug, running down his spine. The name Ochintis dynasty meant something to both, Immo and M. In this absurd standoff, only M dared give voice to his thoughts.
Forget Kulan. He is a stubborn and incredibly stupid simp. If another mortal was already here, we have other problems now. It would be wise to go down to the village to find out what this mortal was looking for, and if he found it.
Immo thought the same.
So, how does that sit with you,
He set the Ishi mirrors down from his shoulders, and the eyes of the 3 Juru lit up with greedy anticipation.
Are these?
Yes, beholder-type Ishi mirrors, fresh from the guild's furnace. You could have 3. I bet you're already wondering what you'll see in yours. Huh?
Immo knew this tiny bit of entertainment would prove far too tempting for the bumpkin Juru from the melting village, which was basically the ass end of the world as far as natives like him were concerned.
Holy ground! Let me think. Give us 4 Ishi mirrors, and we'll let you pass.
No.
The mission leader stood his ground.
Come on! We need 4! 1 for each of us! Plus free passage and water for you, mortal! You look like you need some!
Now it's only 2 mirrors.
Immo's confident stance gave away that he was not bluffing.
What? But what if...
2 mirrors. Take it or leave it.
The melting village didn't have the capacity to produce something like that. But sneaking into someone else's story was too tempting for the ever-living Juru. Kulan and his companions exchanged a wary glance.
Fine. 2! Give us 2 mirrors, and you can go!
Immo stayed still, eyes locked. After a tense, long, and awkward pause, he nodded. Minutes later, Rhy Shen, Immo, and Lumen passed through and disappeared into a hole beneath the dry tree.
Let's hope that we don't have to wait for the savage village down there for too long. We negotiate, and then we leave. No other unnecessary discussions or stops, you understand me, Lumen?
Keep calm, Immo.
Even if I get water in time, it's not going to be a cakewalk down there. At least not for me.
There was a reason why there was only one mortal that had ever passed the melting village before them, and Immo and the others were about to find out.